important an industry is Carnival to the identity of the Caribbean?
Carnival itself is a booming industry right now. Every island that has Carnival, it brings tourism, it brings visitors. Carnival is a big business right now.
If a young person wanted to follow your footsteps, what are the most crucial steps they would need to think about if they wanted to at least start?
Most people get into the entertainment industry now, they're driven by fame and money, and that is a big mistake. Stay true to your culture, stay true to who you are, because once you stay true to your culture, driven to who you are, then no matter what fame, no matter what money, you still stay on track. You have to think long term. You have to think of it as a business, you have to think of it as a brand, and you have to think about it long term, and that's how you get long term success.
Tell us how you got the nickname Stan the Man.
Wow.
Hi, everyone. This is Edwina Delamore. And today I have the honor to introduce to you Stany Benoit. I know him as Stan or Stan the Man. And you're going to hear a weird name you never heard. Well, you've seen it, but you've never really heard me use it, which is Edwina. So it is my name.
Yeah, I know your real name.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People don't, you know me by Nicole. So, but if you call me Nicole, it's no problem.
Yeah,
that's the confusing part. Believe you me. Anyhow.
People call you both names.
My mother calls me Nicole, so if I didn't hear her in a long time, she says to tell you hi, actually. Me and my stupidness. So she says to say hi to you. But when she calls me, she's like, oh, Nicole. And I'm like, who are you talking to? Because here they call me Edwina.
So that's your middle name?
No, Edwina is my first name. Nicole is my middle name. Y'all knew me by my middle name.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your mother calls you by your middle name.
Correct. That's the name she gave me. So I'm called after my father.
Yeah.
Okay. It was good, just easy to stick an A on top of Edwin.
They had a toss-up and he won.
Well, better than Vanessa. I don't look like a Vanessa to nobody.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So we grew up together. We went to school together in Sint Maarten, but his background is from Dominica. Correct? And Sint Maarten. So both of us, we're also, because my background, I'm Bajan and Sint Maarten. So that's the kind of life we've lived. We've always lived kind of a mixed culture on the island of Sint Maarten. But I'm introducing Stan because he's been into Carnival, soca, calypso, DJing for as many years as I know him. So Stan, I'm going to start the question in a weird way, but tell us how you got the nickname Stan the Man.
Wow. I think that was from primary school, because I always been planning stuff. I'm always a man planning stuff. I'm always putting things together. I always have ideas. I'd be sleeping at night and have ideas in my head and have to come out and put them through. So it was always, they used to call me the man with the master plan, because I'm always planning something. So I've planned a lot of events. I've planned a lot of, you name it, I've done it. You name it, I've done it. I actually had a high school reunion, a Sint Maarten high school reunion in 2005 in Sint Maarten.
Yeah, that was like something like our 10-year anniversary or reunion, which I was not at.
Yeah. So the name basically came from me always planning things, always having something on my mind and making it happen.
No. So Small Island Massive or Large and Radio? I know you from Large and Radio. I believe that's it. But you also now go by Small Island Massive. What is it and what does it mean to you?
Okay, Small Island Massive. Actually, okay, it's more deeper than that. So I came to Miami in 1997. 97, we went to school. I'm a graphic designer, web designer. We went art school, and then our time up here, we started to notice that that was a time when a lot of Sint Maarten students was all over Florida, actually all over the world. Mm-hmm. So we came up with an organization called the Sint Maarten Link Foundation. Mm-hmm. This foundation was known to connect the students, because sometimes students would be around Florida, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know that they had students in West Palm Beach, in Tampa, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Gainesville. So the organization came about to connect all the Sint Maarten students and let people know that we're there. And then we started to do parties and do different events, raise money, raise funds, and do different things in Florida on a whole. And then after that, now we realized, like a year into it, because we started that in 2001. Mm. Then a year into it, we realized that we were not only having support from the Sint Maarten people, like you said, Sint Maarten people are melting pot people.
Correct.
We were having a major support from the small island community. So when we did stuff, we noticed that we would get a lot of people from Antigua, the Virgin Islands, Dominica, Anguilla, St. Kitts. So then after a while, we changed the organization to become Small Island Massive. So that is where Small Island Massive came out. And like I said, since we're DJs, it was me and a couple of other guys. Since we're DJs first, music men first, then we got to go on the radio in Florida, several radio stations here in Florida we used to be on, and then DJ for a couple of the college parties all throughout Florida. And when they hired us, that's what we call ourselves, Small Island Massive, because when we came, we brought a whole different element. Most of the other DJs here, that's another thing too. When we started to go party in here, we used to notice when we go to a club in Florida, all you hear is music from Jamaica and Trinidad. That's it.
True.
You don't even hear French music. We come from, as you said, our country is a melting pot. So we're accustomed of going out and hearing Zouk music, French music, compa music, soca from every Caribbean island. And that's not how the party scene was at the time in 2001. So because of that now, we started to get more gigs, the radio station get popular, the website get popular. From there, everything it went crazy. No, that was 2001. Then in 2005, I linked up with a friend of mine in Holland by the name of Lennox Grant. Lennox, the Grants,
We went to school with them, yes.
Yeah, man, his brothers, Alex and all of them, man.
Yeah.
So I link up with Lennox, and Lennox, he's also a music collector as well. So he was doing the same thing I was doing. He was collecting lives. He had a thing called Live Soca. Live Soca. And then I had Small Island Massive. So we joined the stuff together. And that's how in January 2006, we named it Large Radio. So then we came up with an official radio station because in 2005 we were streaming. We was just doing MSN Live.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And all kind of people listening from all around the world, Texas, Canada, and they were like, yo, play some Oliver Ngoma, play some WCK, play some jam band, and we playing music and thing. But then in 2006, we decided, let's get a website. Because we was using smallislandmassive.com and livesoca.com, and we'd say, we're gonna make largeradio.com and make it an official website with an official chat room on the website. And from there, the rest is history. I mean, from there, everything has been going crazy. We actually had a radio show in Sint Maarten on one of the stations in Sint Maarten at one time, back in the days when nobody wanted soca. Back in them days, their soca was like looked up. Like a lot of the DJs, no, they didn't like soca. They was into dancehall and Movado cartel nonsense. We was never into that craziness. We always believed in positive, fun music.
Yeah.
So that's how we did radio shows in different parts of the world, and including Sint Maarten. And now in 2002, soca is like everybody wants to be in soca now.
I don't think you want to go back to 2002, but we're in 22. 2022. You want me young. I understand, son. I understand your feeling. We all want to be young, but
it's been a long time. I think it's 16 years. That's about 16 years
now.
2021 when you officially started.
And then really organized yourself. What I want to also say,
we changed everything too. A couple of years, we added another thing to it because I used to do parties. And we used to do the parties under the Large Radio umbrella. And then a couple of years ago, we started something called More Than 4 Entertainment.
Okay.
So More Than 4 Entertainment now is where we do party promotions.
So the event side of it, the business.
Yeah, we do.
That's good.
Side ventures. Like we just had a party. We do parties in New York, Bronx, Brooklyn. We do parties in Atlanta. We do parties in Houston, Dallas, Tampa, all over Florida. So, St. Maarten too. We have a party in St. Maarten too. So the More Than 4 Promotions now is more promotion team that does parties in different parts of the world, and it's with the same element. Focus on music from all Caribbean islands. We leaving nobody out, including Spanish music. Because
but the thing about it is,
music, so you got to put that in there.
But the thing about it is, that's the beauty of living and being born on Sint Maarten and having our parents, you have the Dominican background. I have the Dominican background, but that's from my grandfather's side. But my mother's from Barbados. My father, he was from Aruba. So, the thing about Sint Maarten is it's such a melting pot that we didn't know any different. We didn't care, I believe we saw the mix between Chinese and Indian in St. Martin, and that was just for the normalest thing from us. So, coming to these different parts of the world and not seeing what we had as a progressive something in St. Martin, I could imagine had such a big influence and impact for what you've given to your community and also the world. But what I also wanted to say is, because we did have in 2017, I think it's Hurricane Irma. And what you also did was, we tried to reach out to the Caribbean and help and create a network whereby we could have helped. We couldn't do anything at that time. We should do more because we're on the outside to be able to help inside. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Can you tell me about the foundation of helping if there's a hurricane in the Caribbean or an island gets hit? How is that organized?
Well, I can't remember the year. I think you said 2017. That was when the first
correct.
Was hit. What we did was we started a foundation in Florida called the South Florida Caribbean Strong. South Florida Caribbean Strong. It's a foundation with many of the heads here in Florida, many of the Caribbean people in Florida that are heads of different organizations. So we work with a lot of the people from Barbados, the prime ministers of Barbados, St. Vincent, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Dominica, Antigua, and it's a foundation that is put together. So when emergency arises, we come together and we get stuff done. We made a subdivision under the South Florida Caribbean Strong. We made something called the South Florida Sint Maarten Strong. So what we did was the South Florida Sint Maarten Strong. We came together and we got money, we got clothing, we got supplies, we got food, stuff that we were able to ship down to St. Martin and use the South Florida Caribbean Strong umbrella, because as the bigger organization, they was able to get millions and thousands of dollars together in the private sector community and be able to send down and help St. Martin. And then that organization is so amazing because a couple of years after that, I believe, was it last year, St. Vincent had a hurricane?
Correct, and the volcano, correct.
And then 2 years before that, Haiti had the earthquake.
The earthquake,
so
correct.
What we realize is that every Caribbean island has their own natural disasters. So this organization definitely helps out. When there's need in the islands, we come together and we get it done.
Now, that's why for me it was so important to mention this, even though it's not a hot seat question, but it is something that's very important. And also what we will do once this airs, we'll also put that information on under the interview so that people can also connect. And if they're from different islands in the Caribbean or if they have heritage from the Caribbean, because we shouldn't only just talk about us being from the Caribbean, but also our children who are Caribbean and should be proud to be Caribbean. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I want to ask, because this is really about business, and yes, we can talk about carnival and soca and events, but I want to say, if a young person wanted to follow your footsteps, what are the most crucial steps they would need to think about if they wanted to at least start?
Wow, that's a deep question. You
always knew me to be deep.
The follow my footsteps.
Yeah.
I think my footsteps, basically, I'm driven by the passion of culture. The culture element of, although you said business to me is secondary. Everything I do, I put culture first. And that's what keeps me in the business over 20 years. We put the culture first. There's a lot of people that, for example, there's some DJs that came into this game, and what they do, whatever's popular, that's what they go towards. Like we said a couple of years ago, people was into dancehall. That dancehall was popular. The DJs was into dancehall. They was cutting their hair in mohawks and doing all kind of
shabarangs.
That is what the world was revolving around.
Yeah.
Not realizing sometimes that is not your culture. So if it's not my culture, I'm not gonna be fake. I'm not gonna be fake. I know where I come from in St. Martin. Yeah. I know what is me. So we don't go by what is popular. Like even when we play in parties and our radio stations and our mix CDs and all that kind of stuff, we don't only put the popular music on there, the top 40. We don't do that. We make sure we focus on upcoming artists, a band that nobody knows about, a song that you hear on an album and say, yo, I love that song. There's another song on the album that's pretty popular, but no, I love the song that's not popular, and we want to play it and let that be known. So
you give an outlet to the things that aren't popular so that people can experience but then how does a person who says is still in the Caribbean or in Miami or even in Europe, how would they start? What was your starting point that you said, okay, this is the direction?
First, they have to be driven by the culture. They have to be driven by the culture. They cannot be driven by the love for money or fame. Most people get into the entertainment industry now, they're driven by fame and money, and that is a big mistake. I'm not driven by fame or money. I never started this to be popular. I never started this to be rich. Never, ever, ever. We're driven by culture. Because another thing too, when we go out there and we do our things too, we make sure we tell people, yo, all of us have different accents. We let people know that, because people believe that all of us talk like Jamaicans. All of us talk like, no, not all of us talk like Jamaicans. And then they believe that all of us eat curry chicken and ackee and saltfish. I'm like, nah.
We have a richer culture.
Yeah, man. You got flying fish and cuckoo. You got the cake. You got the dukuna. You got the...
You just want me to be hungry at this moment. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So those are things that we always highlight in everything that we do. Culture first. That's why a lot of people call us defenders of the culture. If someone wants to get into this game, my best advice to them is put the culture first. Be driven by the culture. Because the reason I say that is because money comes and goes. And then the thing with money is that money can turn you in the wrong direction. Because money can be like, you know what? If you let me say, for example, you get into this game and all of a sudden you're getting a lot of opportunities doing African stuff. You're making money doing African. Then after a while, you're going to change from doing Caribbean. You're going to change from doing soca and reggae. You're going to be like, you know what? If I'm getting more money in the African market, I'm going to go African.
Yeah.
So that the money can just change your whole perspective of things. And then fame too. Fame is a thing that if let me say you get famous in places like China or Japan, then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, yo, you're gonna forget the foundation of what you started with, and you're gonna start going into that area of where you're getting fame from. So those two things, fame and money, can throw you off track. And that's why I always say, stay true to your culture, stay true to who you are. Because once you stay true to your culture, driven to who you are, then no matter what fame, no matter what money, you still stay on track. So that's the first advice I would give to people that are trying to get into this thing is have a motive, have a goal. Because a lot of people don't have a motive and a goal. They jump, it's just business. Business, business.
Yep.
You got to have a mold and a motive and a goal in business. Some people jump into it and they have no motive. You're like, yo, what's your mold and motive? They're like, yo, just to make some money. I'm going to play some music and make some money. And I was like, nah, not that, that's not a goal. That's not a motive. What do you see yourself doing in 5 years? Yep. What do you see yourself becoming in 5 years from this? Are you invested in yourself? Are you invested in a brand? Like you see, I have my shirt. Yep. My shirt, I'm a brand. So once you create yourself into a brand, you have to think far ahead. You have to think of what am I doing today that
to get to the next
tomorrow.
Time. Correct.
You can't, like today, am I going to walk down the street right now and slap somebody? That's going to affect my brand tomorrow. So when you put all those elements into play, that's where a young person coming into this business, they have to think about all that, because it's deep, but you have to think long term. You have to think of it as a business, you have to think of it as a brand, and you have to think about it long term, and that's how you get long term success.
Okay. Now, that can bring me then to the next question, long term success. Now, the Business of Carnival. We know Sint Maarten Carnival is coming up from the 16th of April, if I'm correct, until the 3rd of May. Or maybe longer, but I do know we have the 3rd of May, and I know we have the longest carnival in the world. We actually, when you really think of it, we have the beginning of Carnival, which is 2 weeks before. We have then some shows in between, and then the real Carnival, and then we have the Carnival parade, and then we have the mumu burning. So my question is, how important an industry is Carnival to the identity of the Caribbean? Another deep question.
Nah, man. Nah, well, the carnival itself is a booming industry right now. It brings tourism to every island. Every island that has carnival, it brings tourism. It brings visitors. Right now, they have something called carnival chasers. Carnival chasers are people that go around the world, including Berlin Carnival. Berlin Carnival, I heard, is amazing as well. They jump around and they go to different carnivals around the world. So every year they go to like 3-4 different carnivals. They go Barbados, they crop over, they go Canada, they go. So these kinds of folks, I'm talking about thousands of people, not thousands of people. So these people are looking at carnivals and jumping around every year to a different carnival around the world. So that, of course, brings in finances to the country.
Yeah.
When you have carnival in your island, you're looking at the tourism gets boosted, everything gets boosted. I mean, the locals get money, the finances, everything goes up. Carnival is a big business right now. And St. Maarten, man, when you talk about St. Maarten, Long Carnival, there's a lot of elements of carnival that I had to personally learn myself. Like let me say, for example, in the small islands, so to say, what smaller Caribbean islands, our main focus is Juvie.
Yeah.
Juvie is we think. When Juvie come, I mean,
every man jack there.
It don't matter if you're a pastor, you're a commissioner, all of them go Juvie. Everybody go Juvie. Not even some of them might not jam, but they go watch. They go watch Juvie. Yep. That's how big Juvie is in our islands. Now, as I got deeper into the whole carnival thing, I realized that in some of the bigger islands like Trinidad, the biggest thing for them is parade. The costume, the masquerade day.
Correct.
They call that, they consider that their carnival. So you might look at a map, like sometimes there's maps going around that says when carnival occurs on an island. In those islands, it's going to be circulated around parade. In our islands, it's circulated around Juvie. So that's a big difference between our islands. And what I noticed is something sweet about our island of St. Maarten is that we are one of the only Caribbean islands that have a carnival village.
Oh, okay, that I didn't know.
They don't have a carnival village like us. We have a village that it opens. It's open for like a whole month.
That's true.
Like a whole month, you can go there, and it's not only a village, but it's an international food fair as well. When you go into St. Maarten Carnival Village. It's a food fair because since St. Maarten is so multicultural, like every different area in the village, you get something different. Like when we go down there, you get Guyanese food. You get some Guyanese. Sometimes the Guyanese just cook like iguana, crocodile, and them things. So you're eating that, and then the other time you go into Suriname, you get some Suriname food, you get some bami, and you get some and then every corner has a different person selling a different kind. Like St. Maarten's the only place, when I went down there, the man them had coconut Johnny cake. They had all different
everything
Johnny cake.
But the staple definitely is Heineken beer with everything. I don't know if that's changed, but Heineken beer with everything.
I don't drink liquor, so I don't even know what.
I mean, if you are going to have a drink, that's what you normally see. Chicken leg and Johnny cake is a St. Maarten thing with a beer.
Yes.
It mightn't be Heineken, but with a beer.
Yeah. I don't know who's the official beer now, because that's a more financial business. Who's the official sponsor and sponsorship?
We saw all we knew when they didn't have sponsorships. We just had beer.
You buy anything, but no.
Exactly.
It's becoming a booming industrial thing.
Even there, it's getting a different industry involved.
Yeah. The official beer is someone that has to be a sponsorship throughout the whole carnival village.
Wow.
So then you cannot sell beers from nobody else can sell a beer in the village. In order for you to drink a beer that is not sponsored by Carnival, you have to get it outside the village.
Wow. You see how the business of Carnival has evolved itself. Because 20, 30 years ago, that's to show you how old we are. It was just about going in, getting whatever you wanted. As long as it was Johnny cake and chicken leg, you got whatever drink you wanted and you just move forward. So that's to even show you how it's evolved from just enjoying and playing mass to now really solidifying, the brand, as you said, the brand of the Carnival Village, the brand of Carnival. So, even in that sense, there is that money sense, even though we're saying to ourselves, okay, no problem. It's just a carnival for us as a culture, but it's a business and a very booming business as well. Now, I want to just ask some very quick questions, 1 or 2 sentences, and let's and this is the hot seat part of the interview. So
Okay.
I've heard you spoken about it. So question, soca or calypso?
Soca or calypso?
Yeah, which one? Yeah, which one personally for you?
Oh, soca, of course. Calypso is a more for the more mature. Soca is the more booming thing that's taken over the globe.
Okay. So, what is the unique Caribbean vibe of Carnival if you were to sum it up throughout the islands? I mean, you just said we have different islands and different perspectives, but what's the vibe?
Energy.
Energy. Okay.
Energy.
And what is the vibe in the US for the Carnival?
It's the same thing up here. It's the same thing up here. The lovely part about the US is that it's shorter. So because it's shorter, people can like, okay, if you have 7 vacation days a year or whatever you guys get in Germany, you can just come here for 3 days, 4 days, enjoy yourself and go. So that's one of the amazing parts about it, that the American carnivals, they summarize it. So you can come for 4 days, enjoy yourself. You get parade, you get juve, you get parties, blah, blah, and then you go back. So
okay,
and most time it's on the weekend. So if you're only taking like 1 vacation day off. So that's why in America the carnival hoppers, they have a blast, because like me personally, I'm going to St. Maarten Carnival, and then we come back, we headed Atlanta, we come back, we headed Houston, then we headed New York, and then Miami. So you jump to different carnivals.
So Chaser's nowhere to find you now.
Yeah, but it's on weekends. So all you have to do is take, let's say, Friday off from work or Thursday off from work, and you enjoy the weekend, and you can stretch. You can go to several carnivals throughout America in 1 year.
Okay. So being in your 20s or being in your 40s, which one do you prefer?
Wow. I would say 40s. I would say because the wisdom and knowledge that I didn't have in the 20s. The 20s was a more experimental stage of life, experimenting and trying to figure out things. I'm happy in my 40s now that I know certain things, so I don't have to experiment anymore. You know, like when you go to a restaurant, you have to order, maybe you like this, maybe you like that. I know what you want now, so when I order it, I know what you want.
They know you. They know Stan Man wants this.
Oh yeah. When I walk in, they know what I want. Chicken. We make chicken. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So last question. What does the future hold for Stan Man? I always call you Stan the Man, but it's Stan Man.
Yeah, man. The future holds a lot. I mean, the future holds a lot. Right now, there's so much things booming. I mean, just before COVID hit, we won the International Soca DJs of the Year.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
Yeah, man, thank you. That was just before COVID. So we had several tours planned throughout the world, actually. We came and messed that up. So right now the world is just reopening back. So because of that, now we have bookings that are coming in from around the world that we have to take care of for next year. Because this year's still kind of shaky. So, and then as far as on the promotion angles of things, we have several events right now that are such growing because of the growth of carnival and soca music. Not only that, too, the element, the small island element. The small island element of music, of soca music, is at a rise right now. It's at the highest it has ever been. Back in the days, like we said, people looked down on soca. And then when soca started to boom, everybody was into Trinidad. They looked down on our style of soca.
Yeah.
No. People are now wanting the more small island music. When you go to an event right now and the small island music come on, when the music from St. Lucia, Barbados, Jamaica, Grenada, Virgin Islands, when that music comes on a party, there's a different level of energy. Yeah. It's a different, people start running around with their flags and lifting up people and lifting up furniture. And
we know it's still the same way as a couple of years ago. At least you can't capitalize on that excitement.
Yeah, so but remember, that was only in our circle.
Yeah.
In our circle, it was wild like that.
That's
in
true.
the more Trinidad circle, there was more of a more calm, relax, put on your feathers but no, the wild element is in high demand now. So because of that, our DJ demand has grown. our events that we're doing worldwide has grown as well. So the future now is so looking so magnificent because of the booming demand for our style of music.
Well, I'm really happy to hear this. I'm really happy to hear the progress, seeing that from young them, as we say, we've been seeing each other growing up, missed each other's face for 20 years, but I'm really happy to see the progress that you've made. And I know that once there's Stan, man, there is the future of soca and the Caribbean culture that will remain. So I thank you for that. Thank you for taking us through your journey, but also the business side of things, especially what you said, go with passion for the culture, and then everything else will go from there. It's not just about the money, but that in itself is a business model, So I'm really happy to have had you on, and I don't know what else to say, but just thank you and wishing you, maybe one day I see you in the Carnival Village and we have another interview, but live.
Yeah, man. When listen, I go Sint Maarten every year. I think last year was the first year I did not go last year, but I go Sint Maarten Carnival every year. It's a tradition. I mean, I tell everybody, wherever you're from, you need to go home at least once a year. Yeah. And one of the main reasons I choose to go for Carnival is because, like you said, like yourself, I have a lot of friends in Berlin, in Holland, France, in America, and we choose Carnival time to come down so we can see all each other. If all of us come through the year, we ain't gonna see each other.
Correct.
But Carnival time, we could chill out in the village, we could buy each other a drink, eat some Johnny cake, eat some chicken, some ribs, some barbecue pigtail, some bami, some Nancy Goring, put some status.
Oh Lord, stop. No, but what I say is, Caribbean Best TV is really, I always say it's about being the Bloomberg of the Caribbean and really showing a different side to the Caribbean. Our motto is really bringing the Caribbean together, and we've added this year around the world. So we are all over. So I think, I would love to have you back. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the hot seat, but for another segment. And let's stay together. And I'm going to be watching your progress. And hopefully in the next 20 years, we're talking about your children being in place of yourself.
Wow. That would be a blessing. That would definitely be a blessing.
So I will definitely have all your details in the link of the video, and also about the foundation, because I think that's also very important. If we're talking about culture, that's the one thing that Sint Maarten has been hit many years. We've gone through massive hurricanes since 95, Hurricane Lewis. We know how it was.
It can happen anytime.
It can happen anytime to any island. So that's the most important thing. So thank you once again, Stan, and see you in Sint Maarten.